What is up, everyone? Welcome to the Rage Traders NRL Supercoach podcast. Wolfie here. I hope you had a good week. Now, let's talk about it. Starts with L, ends in Mitchell. Latrell Mitchell. Sometimes I think I'm just going to be safe and go with the Cleary captain and just hope Latrell doesn't go off his rocker. And this guy is performing at peak Supercoach level. At a peak Supercoach level. This guy is absolutely dominating. Hey, I'm glad he's in my team, because if you don't have him in your team, in all honesty, I think it's very close to season being, unless you have people that are like matching him, he is just on fire at the moment. Whoever he comes up against, he is just like, get out of my way. Now, if you do want to join the Discord, the link is in the description below on the YouTube description. If you're listening on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, of course, thank you for the support. 5-star reviews go a long way. Also, I'd like to apologize for not uploading a my trades and captains update on the podcast. I was very, very sick last week. I had really bad gastro, wiped me out for about 4 days. I got in a quick video, just put it up on YouTube and just said I need to go rest. So sorry about that, but we do have the wrap up here for another massive round, it's just insane, some of the scores we are seeing, especially, even at halftime. It's like, when will this stop? And I don't think it will. But is it more entertaining? To a degree, yes. Is it less defensive? To a big degree, yes. So yeah, it is what it is. But let's go through it. Let me run you through my team and what I got this week. So at the moment, I'm sitting at a 1,525 for the week with Cleary as my captain. I did think he would go over 100 this week. I was very close to vice captaining Latrell and captaining Nathan Cleary as soon as I saw it raining heavily in Dolphins. But then I was like, if it's raining heavily, how are they going to tackle Herbie even more? That didn't work out for me in terms of vice captaincy. And then I just wanted to stick with Cleary and stick with my gut. It is what it is. I'm happy I own Latrell, someone who I'm extremely, extremely happy owning. KL Hero. You know me, I say to you guys, there's times to let go of a player and there's times to hold and try and pod out against people that are trading him out. And KL Hero, there's two players that actually have proven that this season so far. One is Scott Drinkwater and the other is KL Hero. Very, very happy. 132 points. And it happened not on the round where he started getting massive points. Remember when I said in the video before, I've noticed Sharks are going left a lot more, and that gave me inclination to hold him even more. And now I'm bearing the fruits of KL Hero. He's going to go up massively from a 43 break even. He gets 132 points. But all in all, I'm going to give a quick wrap up on my team, but not too much, because we're going to go through that in the wrap up itself. But people who I'm really looking at offloading now, I'm in-ahhing about Arama Howe now, or Arama Ho, sorry. The problem I'm finding now is, who do we go from? Now, Manuel Lua, an 8 with a break even of, is it negative 28 or 28? With a negative 28 break even. Yes, he's going to make a bit of cash, but still stinky to have him there in a game where Knights are on fire. He could come into the fray though when, Dylan Lucas goes to, Origin, and Bradman Best and stuff like that, and Kalen Ponga. So he could find a spot in the team to give you some increased minutes and points. So maybe he's someone I don't look to get rid of. Arama Ho's the big topic for me. Just in a team that is pretty much, I think, done for the season now, and I think they know it. The good thing is, though, he does play Manly in round 12, which gives me an inclination to hold him. Again, last week I did do the two trades. One was Sewer and the other was Pryke, just to attain some money. I have $460,300 in the remaining salary. to go to a Scotty Drinkwater next week, which was always my plan from Jerome Hughes. So I'm going to have leftover cash on top of that. Again, Lasardi came in for a 60, super happy with that. And we had the Dragons on the buy. So your Couchmans, like both Couchmans and obviously Hamish Stewart, for those people that own him, they didn't play in your set 2-2. The biggest talking point for me, I think, is another thing is, do I still hold Makasini? There are some like centers that we can possibly target now. Mars U having a massive game could be something you look at, but we'll get into that in the wrap up. Again, I'm very happy with bringing Hines in last week. He's just provided so much for my team. Obviously, I think actually no, 2 weeks ago, Jerome Hughes has been the down point for me, just whether I keep him or not. The problem is I can't get Drinkwater. I want to hold Far Logo, because even when they lose, he puts up points, and they've got Parramatta in round 11. So that's something I'm really, really targeting, and that's obviously not going to be affected from the Origin as well. So wait and see on that, but likely next week will be Jerome Hughes to Scotty Drinkwater for me, bring Hines up into the halfback. Let's get into the wrap up. For those also listening on podcast, I have 29 trades left with 1 boost. So I have been very, very, very aggressive this season. Which I sort of said I think you will need to be, considering how the prices were going and how the scoring was going. Also, shout outs to Reece Robson. If you've been listening ever since I've been doing the videos, I got him in the round before the bye, and I've been super happy with him. He's just been absolutely flying in the hooker position, and for the price I got him, which was like 470,000, super happy with what he's offering. Whether he gets the Origin spot though, we'll have to wait and see. All right, let's get into this. I'm still in the Supercoach Cup, I think, by the way, for those maybe curious. Or did I get eliminated last week? I don't know how to check, but we're flying high, 1525 projected. Can't complain. All right, let's get into the wrap-up and stop yapping, Wolf. Stop yapping. All right, Bulldogs versus the Cowboys. Now, I didn't watch every game this week. Had some stuff to do with the La Familia, church and all that jazz, and just take care of the young'un. But I did get to watch my Cowboys beat the Bulldogs. Now, I expected the Bulldogs to win this one, and man, for those people saying that Galvin is the issue, it's not Galvin. He's like one of the only guys trying out there. I expected Sewer to get a bit more of a scoring points here, but to be honest with you, I didn't expect Bulldogs to only score 12 points against the Cowboys. This was the resurrection and revenge game for Reed Marnie, who scores the highest Supercoach points in this game, 97. So if you've held on to him, very nice to see that. This was a payback game for him. He's saying, "Oh, you got rid of me, did ya? You got rid of me. You didn't tell me why? Well, this is why you should have never let me go." So, to be honest with you, I've actually been quite interested in this like Bulldogs fall this season, because they were one of the top tier teams that could contest for premiership. My biggest talking point now is Drinkwater, Scotty Drinkwater. Now, he only gets a 76 this game, but he was all over the place. He was controlling so much. With 105 break even, he's going to lose a tiny bit of cash, and I think now is the time to pounce. Why? Because they have the Eels this week at Queensland Country Bank Stadium. He plays in round 12 as well, so really, really looking at getting him in the team. And I think that will be my 3 fullback setup, which will be Drinkwater, Far Logo, and Tedesco for now. Kalen Ponga's a big watch, but the problem is with Ponga, they have a great draw for the next 2 games, but then obviously he is going to be going to Origin. Now, there's something that you could look at. Do you value Ponga against St. George and Gold Coast away into then possibly him backing up in round 13 against Parramatta? Those string of games are absolutely massive. The thing that just gets me is he will need to be rested at some point. Whereas if I look at getting a Drinkwater, I mean, he plays round 12 against South, who won't have Latrell Mitchell, thank God. Then Canberra away, which will be a tough game. Then we have the Dolphins into a bye for the round 15, and then round 18 bye. So it's a very interesting play. whether I follow through with Drinkwater. It's just someone who I'm possibly targeting. Another person is, maybe to leverage Sasagi is Hosking, but we'll get into that soon. But yeah, let's get into the wrap up for the Cowboys and not get too off track here. So Drinkwater, a big target for me, even though the score wasn't that huge, 100 plus. He was just controlling everything. McKaylee's been great. I think there's a chance that we really start looking at McKaylee a bit here. 40 break even, 424,500. Just really good base. CTW. He has the FRF position, which is the only fault in him. But if you're looking for an FRF that you need to maybe draw down from, maybe you've still got Haas in your team, maybe you're just not happy with a certain FRF and you want to downgrade a bit, he could be a great shout, especially with Cotter going into Origin and a lot of players going into Origin for the Cowboys. He could be a great little get there. The biggest, it is what it is, but when we score 28 points and Purdue only has 33, it's a bit tough to watch. But as I said to you before, he's going to fluctuate. He's going to go up. He's going to go down. It is what it is, but I'm not going to chop and change the 5'8" position when he could easily be a CT dub. He could easily be someone that just comes in and I bring in a new 5'8" and he sits in my center and I just assess from there. But I mean, Laybutt only scored 42 this game. Purdue only 33. It did go right a bit. And, you just didn't get that big Purdue break, and it is what it is. It just happens sometimes. But I expect against the Eels, if Purdue doesn't go big against the Eels, I'll be a bit worried then. But I'm expecting at least a 60 from Purdue this coming week. Chester again with the 76. You love to see it. Nothing else here from the Cowboys that I would mention besides maybe Lukey, who only gets a 45. Don't stress too much on that. Just wasn't his night and, didn't get that tackle bust line break sort of try he gets. But against the Eels coming up, he's not going anywhere. For the Bulldogs, I actually don't mind Galvin as a play now with the Adam Dewey injury. This could be something you look at doing. I have Jerome Hughes in my team. Whether I trade him or not, I'm not sure. But Galvin could be an easy play here. He's scoring well. He's the only person, really, in my opinion, in the team that's just giving a go constantly for 80 minutes. Curran also getting the starting spot. He got a 76 this game with a 2RF FRF dual position at 365,000, mind you. This could be a big watch. A 99 break even. He isn't even going to break that. So that's something to look out for. But again, with the kick out injury, and who knows, Preston may go to Origin. He could be in for some very, very big minutes and very big cash rises. So keep a tab on Josh Curran because they do play round 12 and they actually don't have, I could be wrong on this, so let me just see. So they play round 12, then 13, 14 they play. They miss out on 15 and 18, but still they play round 12 against Melbourne, and then they play against West Tigers away and Parramatta at home. So I think Curran could be a nice little play. Maybe something I look at doing where I go, Curran, Drinkwater, and then bring in Hosking 1 week later if he performs. Supercoach wise for this team, look, Preston's been subpar, Crichton a 48. The whole team's just been playing really underwhelmingly, and I think it's something I wouldn't really focus on unless you're looking at Galvin, but I wouldn't look into that too much because he did get a try this game. The only person I'll be really looking at is possibly a Tupanua or a Curran who have that dual position that you could snag some easy points from. And Anari Tuala only a 37 this game, Matt Burton a 30. It's just not clicking for the Bulldogs at the moment, and expect some changes. Dolphins versus the Storm. Finafuiaki, here he is. He finally came back to the shining knight he was. 108 points. Really good second half from the Dolphins here. Bostock again 105. Maybe a little pod play that you could look at. Now remember, the Dolphins have the best, if not one of the best, draws over this major minor bye period. They basically only have the round 13 buy and the round 21 buy. If there's someone you really want to look at, you could look at a Bostock here, 506,000. He had a 56 break even. He's now coming in at 105 points, so he'll make some cash there. Cobo had a nice 89 this game, looked to click in and be set in stone. The pod who I was talking about, finally, Maxi Plath, 85 points. 35 break even, 2RF hooker position. Really, really nice to see. Herbie Farnworth only a 74 this game, but still gets away with just getting these really nice scores. And you move on to the next. Hammer, not too much here, Supercoach wise. And they would be the only guys I really look at. Katoa, okay. Could be a bit of a pod play if you dare, 458,200. But again, this was Dolphins at home against the Storm without Jerome Hughes. And I honestly think if Jerome Hughes played this game, they would have been very, very close to winning the Storm because they started off way better than the Dolphins. Talking about the Storm, I say this guy isn't a sell. It's Suafar Logo, 76 points. Some of the stuff he just comes up with out of nowhere just is so super coach friendly that I just can't get rid of him. Alasadi comes back for a 60, which is great. Stefano, a 64. You'll live with that. Harry Grant, a 64. That's where he sort of sits at the moment. And Munster, a very underwhelming game. If you have Munster now, I'm pretty sure it's just getting close to holding because he's lost so much cash. But I can completely understand if now you really just like are over him and want to get rid of him. Wishart got injured this game after scoring the first try and while scoring the first try. Cooper Clark, I did say, a few weeks back, I don't understand the trade. He only gets a 29. Warbrick at 23. Get rid of him ASAP, in my opinion. Hugo Peel, a pretty average 18 as well. And Joe Chan with a 10. Nothing much else here, but yeah, the Melbourne Storm are not clicking and they're kind of in the same boat as the Bulldogs. Titans versus the Raiders. Again, the Titans start off pretty strong, try and hold in there and just fade away. Bo Fermor with an 81, Tino with a 76, who's started to actually come back to old Tino a bit the last couple or few weeks. Really good to see, but with Origin looming, you just can't go there. Philip Sami, he's been nice, a 71 here. Brimson a 64, Arama Ho only with a 28. I mean, you can't get the best from all the cheapies, but you expect a bit more than that from the lad. Faye Marnie, I think there was a bombed try that I haven't seen, but yeah, a very poor game from him. I expected Titans to score more than 12 points this game against a Raiders team that has been letting in a bit more points than usual. Another underperforming player this season, Jaden Campbell. I mean, for me, it seems like he's a bit of a second half of the season player where other teams know that they can't win it or other teams know that they're just set in stone and sort of Titans then come into gear a bit. He did that, I think it was last season where the second half of the season was putting up some pretty big numbers. So just watch out for that. But at the moment, it's just not working. 94 break even, 747,000. I don't think he's worth the coin at all. Cooper Bye still been impressive, 56. You'll live with that. And nothing else to really mention for the Titans. The Raiders, Simi Sasagi, 109 points. The player that has haunted me this season. I can't even go close to him now. 37 break even, 731,000, and he's going up, up, and up. If you own him, you're laughing. If you had him since day one, you are absolutely cheering. And looked completely fine after the hamstring injury where he had to miss a game. Just looked really good. 2 tries in this one. Absolutely killing it. Someone else we should be flagging is Corey Horsburgh, who at $514,000 now has 78 in the bag. Let's have a look quickly at the minutes he got this game because that's actually something I wanted to check that I forgot to do. But if he's getting increased minutes with the players that are missing with injury and stuff like that. He got 65 minutes this game. So that's really, really good to see. He could be someone you look at plotting in. I doubt he'd be in the Origin team. Timoko, 78. Nice to see. Possible pod there. Ethan Sanders, a 74 this game, which is huge. Someone who I traded out for my halfback, but that's fine. I mean, I really got Nico Hines in for that, and I was kind of over just watching Sanders play NRL, to be honest with you. Tamale 65, Joe Tarpanay 72. I still wouldn't look at that. And nothing else to talk about here for the Raiders Supercoach relevant wise. KO Weeks, actually, if you wanted to pod up, he could be a little pod for you in the fullback, but with what other fullbacks are doing at the moment, I wouldn't be looking at that. Eels versus the Warriors. Geez, 36-14 to the Warriors. They are just clicking, and if you haven't had this guy, I'm so happy I traded him in, 6 to 8 weeks ago. Jackson Ford, 119 points. He can't be stopped. He's in Dally M form. They're in Dally M form, the Warriors in general. They're playing at an elite level, and they are riding the train home. Khan Pereira has been a great get if you've got there. He got a 90 this game. He's been killing it. Him and RTS just on that left edge are really clicking and sinking. And I said this at the start of the season when he didn't get a position in the team. I found it super surprising because for the Gold Coast Titans, he was a very, very, very good player, and I thought he warranted a position. And Aaron Clark here, 82. Just keep monitor on that, because if they continue to have some injuries here and there, he'll be a beneficiary for that. Tanner Boyd, an 80. You love to see it if you've held him. RTS, another 80. He got about 86, I think, 2 weeks ago as well. So he's been playing some good footy. DWZ, a 63 with a dropped ball on the line as well. So that hurts if you own him. And nothing else Supercoach relevancy-wise. Maybe a 5/8 we're not talking about as much that could be a pod play is Chanel Harris Tavita. He's just really Supercoach friendly, 492,000. He's got some good scores in him. He's got some bad scores in him, but so does every other 5/8. But maybe keep tabs on him if you are looking for a pod 5/8 play. Eels, nothing much to talk about here, to be honest with you. The biggest thing was maybe Talon De Silva watch, because Riley Smith went down with a pretty bad injury. If you're looking for maybe a replacement hooker or somewhere cheaper you could go to, maybe Talon De Silva is your person. Nothing else. Kelma Talagi, 64. That's pretty nice. Again, Jack Williams, he always floats around the 60 with getting a 56 here. Volkman, 77. Not bad at all. But yeah, the Eels aren't clicking, and they're definitely not an 80-minute team, and it just hurts if you do own some of these players. Roosters Broncos, very interesting game here. Very happy with my boy Paddy Carrigan. I've had him since the start of the season. I held him through the 2-game suspension. He gets a 96 with a try, mind you, a 96 with a try. Reece Walsh looked really good this game. First game back for an 86, but we can't look at him because of the Origin coming up. Jordan Ricky's been performing well. Xavier Willison, he looked shot. He was on like 40. I was like, this is such a good fade. Then he had an amazing line break with a step past the fullback to score. 76, if you've got him, he'll make you some good cash. Is it too late to go him? Most probably not. But I just still want to wait, because he actually didn't look that great for about 40-ish minutes in the 2RF position. I think he's much better in the prop position. So that's something we just need to look out for. But still, I don't think he's a bad pickup at all. Tolti was someone who I was looking at a bit, but only a 46. Definitely happy I didn't go there. And Adam Reynolds going down with the injury just enabled Reece Walsh even more. So look into that. Make sure you get the news on Adam Reynolds' injury and the updates, because if he's out for a long period of time, that could assist Walsh when he does play here and there. Ezra Mann, only a 36 this game. Katoni Staggs, only a 36. Not that flash. Nat Butcher sums it up with a 95 for the Roosters. And when they score 38 points, the fact that none of the Roosters have gone over 100 points is really, really interesting. Sam Walker got 2 tries this game for only an 82. That's a bit weird. Tedesco, I thought he was going to absolutely fly this game at some points. Still an 84. You'll live with that. They've got Gold Coast Titans next week, so get ready for that. Tupou, 70, really nice. Robson, as I said, some of you may own him. I've got him as a little pod. Very happy with his 71. It seems like each week he just clicks more and more with the team and the crash plays, and is just understanding the Roosters even more each round, which is really good to see. DCE got the first try this game for a 64. Suo Wong, only a 55 this game. Connor Watson came off the bench for a 55. Crichton, I think there's some injury news, so look out for that. But he's just been way under par this season. Doesn't have that oomph to him that he used to have in Origin. Marky Mark also goes down with an injury, which I think they said was syndesmosis. Don't quote me on that, but he should miss quite a bit of time. So I'd say if you've got Marky Mark, he is an immediate trade out. Maybe we could look at doing a CTW pods video for the people that have him and other CTWs they're wanting to get rid of. And that's it. 38-24 to the Roosters. A nice little comeback for the Broncos in this game, but Stags getting sin-binned sort of stopped and halted that comeback. Knights versus the Rabbitohs, the game of the week. I didn't get to watch this, but boy, oh boy. Latrell Mitchell, 141 points. The left side is humming. Him, Alex Johnston, just looks too good. It's just amazing to watch. Their synergy is mostly the best synergy in the NRL at the moment, and it's just, once they get an inch of space, the chances of them scoring a try is so high. Mitchell 141. For those of you that vice captained or captained in, congratulations. It didn't look too good at the start in terms of like Newcastle just came out of the shops or out of the bricks and just smashed them. They were just on fire, and I'm like, wow, this is insane. Actually, I hit my multi. I had Newcastle to win, into Sharks to win, into Penrith to win. So very happy with that. And this was a nail biter because South came back really hitting back strong from a big deficit and showing their resilience, but just didn't get there in the end. They actually tied the game, but didn't get the win. And then Knights score sort of within 4 minutes left, I think it was, or 6 minutes left. Trey Mooney, who someone will get to shortly. Kolongatangi only a 53. Tallis Duncan only a 52 this game with a try. So that kind of scares me a bit, but I also think he's the type of guy that is that likes the grindier, more tougher games a bit more. Like these open, high point scoring games, he doesn't get to, get his tackles in, get his little runs in here and there. But I'll take 52 and go next and see what happens from there. Murray only a 50. Nothing else to really talk about for the Rabbitohs. Jack Wyden also gets injured this game, so stay updated on that. Marju, 131, his biggest score of the season so far. That's massive. I think the biggest news is Trey Mooney. 2 tries, back in really good form. A lot of us traded him out. Is he a trade back in? Mate, I'm not going to say no. I mean, if he forget about the scoring tries. If he doesn't score the 2 tries, he's still got a very solid score. So if this is something that is going to shine now for the Knights, and be maybe the Knights coach Justin Holbrook's like, I've got to get Mooney in way more. Maybe this is the time we look at getting Mooney back in again. The team was at pretty much back to full strength. Bradman Best, Dylan Lucas, Trey Mooney, Greg Marju, Fletcher Sharp in the halves with Ponga at the back. They looked really, really strong, and it was really good to see. Now, they scored 42 points, and Dominic Young only has 26 Supercoach points. That's really rough. Phoenix Crossland, 37 for you guys having a little pod in the hooker position. Fletcher Sharp just continues to lose a lot of cash. 106 break even, and he's at 524,000. He could definitely be someone we move to from the position of like Purdue, or even if you still have Pezzett. Something we could look at next week, I think could be really, really interesting to see, is if I can go like Jerome Hughes to Scott Drinkwater, and then I go like Pezzett to Sharp. That could be really strong, because I have a feeling in these next 2 games when they verse St. George and I think it's Titans, he could just have one of those games that he absolutely goes off for. Nothing else to talk about here for the Knights. The Rabbits, Cody Walker, 66, good to see. For those of you that traded in Matt Duffy, 57, with a 38-point game. I think you expected a bit more as well, considering how he played against Melbourne. It's going to be rough now, because I think there were some defensive plays where he could have saved a try here and there that Jai Gray would have saved. So as soon as Jai Gray is ready, I think you're going to see that switch happen. That is it for this game. Let's get to the second last game, the Sharks versus the Tigers. Sharks obliterating the Tigers 52-10. Now, I didn't watch this game, but the news is that Adam Doueihi had suffered a shoulder injury. Really, really rough if he was someone you brought in recently this week or just had him, because honestly, career best form for Adam Doueihi. He was just someone I didn't have, I wanted to start with, and it's really unfortunate to see. So it looks like that will be a trade out. Twal top scoring the Tigers with a 95, though. He proves to be the mini Haas of this season, in my opinion. I said that about 3 to 4 weeks ago. Very happy I've got him in now, and it's just a really solid score from him. T-May, which I assume this is Terrell May. Yeah, T-May gets 79, Terrell May, and then the other Taylor May gets 43, but Terrell May 79. You'll live with it. I've said this before, I don't think he's worth the price. He's had some really solid games where he got like 101 and 90-ish, but yeah, I'm not 100% on it. I don't think he's worth the price in terms of what you could get for other people. Tristan Hope, $236,300, 39 break even. He gets a 70 this game, so maybe look into that if you dare. Jerome Luai, 54 for those of you that traded him in on that massive surge of Luai with the negative break even. You'll live with the 54, I would say. What did Samuel Afinu get? He got a 63 this game. Not too crazy, but still in a game where you get walloped by 42 points. For him to get a 63, I think is bearable for sure. La Lily only a 30 this game. Taruva only a 22 this game. And honestly, Supercoach wise, nothing else to really talk about for the Tigers. My man, KL Ira, 132 points. Nico Hines, 131. Very happy I have them both in my team. T. Wilton, 105. Braden Trindle had a 91 this game, so he made up for his measly little 5 or 6 points last week. So you'll live with that. Good on him. I told you, when they just click at home, this is when Trindle and Hines and everyone goes off. Jesse Colhoun, for those that traded him out, he got a 72 this game. Very interesting to see. Someone I did trade out, but geez, Sharks putting up 52 points. He's just going to be a recipient of something, and there you go. McInnes only a 37. Geez, he's going to be dirt cheap at some point, McInnes, but we'll have to wait and see. This is what hurts. I don't know if he got injured. I'm not sure. I haven't watched the game, but Sifa Talakai, $388,400, only gets a 32 after having a crazy week. He was one of the most traded in this week. That is really, really tough to see. So if you are an owner of him, apologies, but I guess that's how the cookie crumbles. Nothing else much to talk about besides maybe Blake Brayley, who gets another 72. If you're an owner of him, you're very happy with his scores, and I think he's shown to be the elite hooker that you needed to get this sort of season, and he should be the Origin Blues hooker in my opinion. Last game, Panthers versus Eagles. In all honesty, I'll go out and say that I feel like Seagulls deserved this win. Hamoli Olakawatu, 108 points. Really strong running, really good attacking of the line as usual. Cooler, someone who I was really hot on and didn't go with. He only got a 61 this game, but did go off with a bit of a HIA scare, but came back on. Joey Walsh was really impressive this game in place of Jamal Fogarty. He is definitely a star, and if I was another NRL club, I'd be actually putting a lot of effort into looking at him if they were down a halfback or thought they could. Like, I think Joey Walsh at like the Dragons or Joey Walsh at the Bulldogs, there's a lot of places I think this guy could go. I don't know what his contract is or whatever, but he's really, really good. And I think Manly have landed someone that is going to be very good for them in the future if he stays with the Sea Eagles. Takiaho, a 60. Hopewadi, I think he had one try this game for a 57. I think Olakawatu was just the guy that was all over the shop and just really just getting Seagulls forward in meters and being like the big distraction and also the big meter gainer. Nathan Cleary, top scores with 98, my captain for the week. I'll live with it. Blaze Talagi, he started super strong, was very active. Isaiah Yeo, another 80. Maybe I shouldn't have traded him out, but all this like, oh, he's going to be on limited minutes and stuff. Where's all this gone? He looks really, really good. So Brian Toto, 78. You can't look at that though with Origin. Dylan Edwards, another 78. He looked he looked very active. Tago, 53. He got a try this game. I wouldn't read into it too much. Isaiah Papali, he's been a bit under the par, I would say. 47 only in a game like this where it was a bit grindy, which usually favors him. As I said to you, as someone I wouldn't go because he sometimes gets 60 minutes, he sometimes gets 80. Jenkins, 38 points, very rough, and McLean 41. Just didn't go their way. It wasn't the wrath of the Panthers. It was 18-16, and it was and honestly, it was like last season footy. Two teams with minimal errors that came together, and it was just a very close game and a bit of low scores here and there. And that's your wrap up, ladies and gentlemen. That is I think that was round 9 wrap up for memory. Round 9. It's going too fast. Round 9 wrap up. So just talking about what I'm looking at doing next week, I think there's a couple things I'm really liking. One of those could easily be because, as I said to you, I could go Jerome Hughes to Scott Drinkwater and Pezzett to Fletcher Sharp. That is something that is really enticing me now that I'm thinking about it, because my 2RF is already set up. Purdue can cover Sharp in round 12, and then in round 13, I can then have Sharp playing, who they will verse Parramatta. So this is something that is really, really enticing me now, because the Newcastle Knights are clicking. They've got Ponga back, who's in really good form. Fletcher Sharp is back into that halves position, and he's had a few games under his belt. And then again, I've got the likes of Jerome Hughes still sitting here that I may not need to get rid of, but when I have Cleary and Hines here who are putting up hundreds, there may not be a need for that. So if I can bring Drinkwater and Sharp in, that is something I'm looking at. There is a possibility of Hosking. There is a possibility of... there was another 2RF we were talking about before, but I forget who that is. But yeah, there's some 2RFs there that are showing real good value. McKaylee from the Cowboys, the FRF, he's showing good value. So it's going to be interesting. Also, we've got now Melbourne at Amy Park against the West Tigers without Adam Douay. So that's going to be very, very interesting to see what happens here. I do think Melbourne will get up this game, and we might see a bit of the old Tigers, especially without Douay. But yeah, I'm going to obviously very excited for lockout. Hopefully I get some green arrows, considering I didn't captain Latrell Mitchell, but still had a nice-ish score. And we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens and go from there. That is your round 9 wrap-up, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for listening. Wolfie here from the Rage Traders. I'll see you on the next one. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Catch you soon.